So what if I told you that intelligence isn't some fixed score you're stuck with, but it's actually a skill, something you can build, almost like a muscle? Today, we are diving into this really cool idea that your brain is, above all else, a prediction machine. And if you can understand how it works, well, that's the key to unlocking its full potential.
All right, so let's just start with a huge question. Why do we even have these incredibly complex, energy-guzzling brains in the first place? Is it to write poetry, to think about the stars? The answer, it turns out, is way more practical, and it's all about our basic survival.
And there you have it. That's the big secret. From an evolutionary point of view, this whole 3-pound universe we have between our ears was fine-tuned for one main job: to guess what's going to happen next. It's the ultimate survival tool, right? It lets us get ahead of the game instead of just reacting to things as they happen.
Now, if our brain's main gig is to predict the future, that completely changes how we should think about intelligence itself. It pretty much forces us to throw out our old ideas about a term we all think we know: IQ.
Yeah, most of us just think of IQ as that number you get from a test, but that's kind of like judging a world-class chef based on how well they make a single sandwich. Real intelligence, the kind that actually matters, isn't about the facts you've memorized. It's a dynamic, active skill for dealing with the world as it comes at you.
So this brings us to a much more useful way to think about it: functional intelligence. It's not about what you know, it's about your ability to predict what's coming. And you can actually measure it using two key things. First, how accurate are your predictions? And second, how far into the future can you accurately see? Someone with a really high functional IQ can make these super precise predictions way before things actually happen.
Okay, so to really get a grip on how our brain pulls off this amazing predictive trick, it helps to use an analogy we can all understand. Let's start thinking about the brain as a piece of biological hardware, like a computer. Seriously, just like the laptop or phone you're probably watching this on, your brain has its own hardware. It's not some kind of magic. It's a real biological system with parts that decide its raw processing power. So let's break down what those parts are.
Let's map this out. So think of all your memories and everything you've ever learned. That's basically your brain's hard drive. The speed of your neural connections, that's your processor, your CPU. And your working memory, the number of different ideas you can juggle in your head at one time, that's your RAM. It's a really powerful way to picture your own mental setup. But here is the massive, critical difference. You can't just go out and buy a new brain with a faster processor or more RAM. This biological computer you've got is finite. You have a limited number of brain cells, a limited supply of chemicals that make it run, and a limited amount of time. And that one simple fact, well, it changes everything.
Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. If our hardware is limited, then how in the world do we get better? The answer is in understanding what a skill actually is. It's not just some abstract idea. It is a physical thing that you literally build inside your brain.
Just let that sink in for a second. Every single skill you learn, whether it's riding a bike, speaking a new language, or playing the guitar, it isn't just a memory. It's a physical, anatomical change to your brain. You are literally building new machinery inside your own head.
This is exactly what neuroplasticity is. When you practice something, you're not just getting the hang of it. What you're actually doing is sending electrical signals down the same brain pathways over and over and over. That repetition strengthens the connections, the synapses between those neurons. It makes the signal faster and more efficient until eventually, bam, you've built a dedicated, high-speed physical network in your gray matter just for that skill. So if skills are actual physical structures that are taking up real estate in our very limited brain space, that leads to a really important question. Are we being careful about what we're building? And this brings us to the idea of cognitive housekeeping.
Think of your attention like you're the foreman of a construction crew. Whatever you point your attention at, that's what your crew gets to work on building. Every article you read, every show you watch, every conversation, it's like a blueprint. So the question is, are you building a beautiful skyscraper or just a big pile of junk?
And this is where we have to make a choice. On one side, you've got valuable input, right? Stuff like deep reading or focused practice that builds strong, useful brain networks. But on the other side, you've got what the source calls neural rubbish: mindless scrolling, useless trivia, constant distractions. That stuff builds structures too, but they're weak, they're fragmented, and in the end, they're just a waste of your brain's very precious resources.
It really is that simple. The person you are today, your personality, your abilities, your intelligence, is a direct result of the information you've chosen to let in and process over your entire life. Your skills, your habits, even your gut feelings, they are all physical structures you either built on purpose or just let happen by default.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one question to think about. Just consider your day so far. Think about the things you've read, the things you've watched, the things you've focused on. What physical, anatomical structures have you been building in your brain today? And more importantly, are they the ones you actually want?